You have not lost your passion. You are just tired. Welcome to Shredded Thoughts. You are not tired from the craft itself, but from everything that is grown around it. The noise, the pressure, the deadlines that pile up before your eyes are fully open. You wake up to a mess around you and inside you. You cut into fabric, but it feels like you're cutting into chaos. Client asks for magic, but you haven't felt like a magician in months, maybe even in years. You miss the joy, you miss the slowness, you miss the quiet pride of making something with your hands. You miss the joy. See, this week I realized something. I'd not fallen out of love with sewing. I just fallen into a pace that was never made for my spirit. So I paused, I stopped pushing, and I gave myself permission to reset. I gave myself permission to start all over again. It started small. I walked into my workspace, but I did not rush. I took a breath before touching any fabric. I played music that made me feel warm inside. I folded my patterns gently, I lit a candle, and somewhere in that moment, it felt like sewing was speaking back to me. Not shouting, it wasn't demanding, just whispering, I'm still here. It reminded me that making clothes isn't just about the final garment, it's about being present, it's about rhythm, it's about returning to a part of yourself that the world keeps trying to pull away. Because the truth is, how you do the work shapes how you feel about it, determines how the work comes out. And if your routine is built on pressure and panic, no wonder you started to dread what you once loved, what was once your safe space, what you wanted to do so badly at some point in your life. Now you're tired. The truth behind burnt out is I used to think I needed better tools, a bigger table, nicer clients, or to finally blow, as if success will fix my exhaustion. But now I understand. Burnt out isn't always solved by success. Sometimes it's healed by softness, by slowing down. You don't need a new sewing machine. You need a new way of showing up. For me, that looks like sewing with presence, not panic, right? Taking breaks. I'm not calling it laziness. Rearranging my space so it feels like inspiration and not pressure. Saying no without guilt. And most importantly, reminding myself why I started sewing in the first place. Not to prove my worth, but because it made me feel free. Resetting isn't about starting over, it's about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the pressure. It can be as simple as number one, making one corner of your workspace beautiful again. Number two, starting your morning without your phone. Number three, revisiting the one design. That one design that has always been sitting in your heart. That one design you've always wanted to do that you've not even started or finished. Four, sewing something just for yourself. Not for money, not for clients, but for the joy of it. For yourself. You don't have to earn your rest. You don't have to justify softness. Even in a world that glorifies also, you can choose peace. Even in an industry like ours that says go faster, you can choose rhythm. And maybe, just maybe, you can fall back in love with sewing again on your own terms. Yes, without pressure. Do it for yourself. If sewing has started to feel like a burden. If your body is tense every time you sit at your machine, you are not alone, trust me. And you are not lazy. You are not failing. You're just tired of running in circles. This work we do, creating, building, dreaming, it takes a lot from us. But we are allowed to ask something. We're allowed to ask for something back. We're allowed to ask for ease. We're allowed to ask for peace. You're allowed to rest. You're allowed to move slower. You're allowed to reset. Because when you do, you start to feel the joy again. Not the kind that comes from social media praise or perfect results, but the kind that fills your chest quietly. The kind that reminds you, this is mine, and I don't have to lose myself to keep creating beauty. So if this message finds you on a tired day, let it be your reminder. You are not broken. You are just ready to begin again. And that too is sacred.